There is this book I picked up a couple days ago. I have not gotten far in it yet, but I read something really interesting in it. The book is called Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. And have you heard of this, Tim? I see you nodding.
Oh, yeah, I read it about 6 months ago.
So you probably know way more than I do, but I got probably like 10 pages into it and something like blew me away. I'm like really captivated by this book. It's like really getting my attention and I'm really enjoying reading it. And this book by Dan Sullivan was not written by Dan Sullivan. He did not write a single word of this book, but Dan Sullivan would agree that it is going to be written better than he could have written it because he's found people who are smarter than he is, something like that. But anyway, it's just like, wow, that idea that that's possible, that a book could be written better than the person himself just because he's able to find the talent and find people who can do things better. I don't know, just, in my mind, like that's impossible. I didn't even think that was something that could be done. Just when you outsource enough things, you just have to sacrifice quality. And when I saw it, it was like, whoa, this just opens up a lot of doors. Like I have to now entertain that that is a possibility. And there's a lot of things that, anyway.
The pushback though that I would give, Seth, like you and me both have struggled like a lot
sure.
trying to find this infamous somebody who is like super high quality that we can outsource our life to. And I've never found him. So like, that's the thing that I mean, I'm kind of the Debbie Downer over here, I guess, because I hear on paper, like you said in books and other people say that you can find super high quality ghostwriters. And when it comes to getting from what's inside my head out into the world, whether it's a video or an article or whatever, even though I'm not the greatest writer in the world, it still ends up being better when I first establish the foundation and then have it be edited by a professional editor. But
I mean, presumably this book explains how this is done. And then I'm sure he's got a course in coaching and all kinds of stuff to say too. But
$30,000. I'll teach you everything I know.
I do think what he's saying is possible, but guess what? It's going to take hundreds of hours of you pouring yourself into other people so that they can do it too. This is not something you snap your fingers and find these people on some website with a click of a button. But I'm sure it is possible if you find people and nurture them and all this stuff.
It sounds like Tim's solution, at least to a large degree, is to have everything already created through video and have a really good system. What I keep hearing Tim talk about in regards to his business is that you've just created a ridiculously amazing system and continue to work on that system so that it continues to produce results. Because if you have 150 videos already made, then if your VA quits or doesn't work out after 60 days or whatever, you can easily find a replacement and just be like, for your first 3 days, you do nothing but watch these videos. And then if you have questions, ask me. You know, like, am I assessing your situation right there?
Yeah, pretty close. Again, with Who Not How, again, I think part of it is definitely hard to find people, but also part of it is that most of us don't put any energy or effort into becoming someone who other people can work for. Anyways, that's kind of a side note there. But yes, I do a lot of videos. I mean, I have a video on the standardization of communication. I have written out expected response times for each form of communication and how they should be responded to. I have written out an Excel spreadsheet with the normal forms of paperwork that are inside of a transaction, what the normal order is, how important they are, where they should be recorded, and a video on each one of those styles of paperwork. So it sounds really boring until you have to deal with stuff like that. I mean, one thing used to bug me a lot with my team was that I would make a post on something and then they would just go and do it, but they wouldn't notify me at all that they read it. And so now we have the standard of communication built there. And we know that, hey, if we comment or do something before 3 p.m., it has to be responded to the next day. If we do it afterwards, it can be responded to in the morning. And then I have that for email, for phone, and for text, and for our CRM. It's a lot of work to do all that stuff. But again, you have to think for that other person, are they just not skilled at what it is? And that's a tough one to measure. But more likely than not, they don't know exactly what you want. And really more likely than not, that I've found for myself, is I don't know exactly what I want. And therefore, they're trying to hit a target that seems blurry to them because it's blurry to me. So that's some of the stuff I've been learning about in one of the business coaching things that I'm in, is trying to get better at making that vision clear to the team. And there's still problems. I mean, good night. I have problems all the time. But making that vision clear to the team so we're all going in the same direction.
I was just going to say that thing you're saying about it's blurry to them because it's blurry to me. That's a big one. And sometimes it's hard to even identify if it's blurry to me. Like I know what I want, but the how is like, I don't even really know how. So how do I expect them to know how? And it's very lazy for me to just be like, figure it out, you know? Um, but how can I expect them to do it if I don't really get it myself? What are you gonna say, Jaron?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's a huge insight there. I think most people too, at least in the context of like employer employee dynamics, a lot of employees don't care enough to really, or they don't know how to figure it out. There's a handful of people in the world that are more self starters or self initiators. And you can kind of be like, hey, I want this done. And then you just let them go. And that's kind of me, right? Like I don't like people. I do not do well in a environment where I have protocols up the wazoo and I have to do things a particular way. Like you would probably fire me or I'd probably quit if I worked for you, Tim, based on how things are. But if you were to be like, hey, I need this done, go figure it out. I work way better in that environment. But I think I'm the exception to the rule. And I've had to learn that I can't project that level of expectation for people to figure it out when I work with other people. Because most people, I don't know if it's school, I don't know if it's just personality, I don't know what goes into it, but most people, they need literally everything spelled out step by step and have like, and where you, like you said, they don't have to make any decisions, they don't have to think, they literally just plug and play. And I keep coming back in my mind to this systems thing, man. I think you embody that whole notion of instead of setting hardcore, hard and fast goals of I want to make X amount of deals or X amount of revenue. Some people say it's better just to focus on building an incredible system that will consistently output deals and get results, and then you can scale your system once it's established. Right? Systems, I feel like, are really the key to long-term success, because if you have a system that streamlined and works, it's going to eventually hit a tipping point where it's almost on autopilot and it makes deals whether you like it or not, you know? So it seems like that's what you're building, man. So
it's getting there for sure. Like with my mailers too, I just choose where we're going and I do the data pull. And then I have VAs that scrub every item. I have VAs that format it. I have someone I train who does my pricing. So, and then I just review it and then I give them the go or no go. So as far as I'm trying to outsource mostly tasks, which is good, but eventually I will learn how to outsource more decisions. So this is up to a certain level. Because again, the whole saying, what got you here won't get you there. If you think about it like kind of a hill or a mountain, like when you just start, you just need boots, just hike. But then eventually you need gloves and a little bit of rope. And then eventually you need the full setup of everything. And it's just the progression of how things go and how you want them to go. I don't want to have a huge team, but I want my team to be able to do really good work. And now we're able to handle, 10,000, 12,000 letters a month pretty much.